Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Relationships. So you're married with kids and your partner says they're leaving you for the love of their life. When that doesn't work out, they want back in. That's the tough situation our first OP is in. So let's get started with that first story. This one's from user ThrowArrayXXB34. My soon-to-be ex-wife filed for divorce 8 months ago. We have been separated for 8 months and she moved in with her affair partner. Divorce is to be finalized next month. Now she's begging not to go through with it and begging me to try reconciliation. My wife, 38 female, and I, 37 male, met back in college. We dated for 5 years before getting married. Our marriage has been good with little ups and downs. We have 2 girls, 13 and 15. January last year, I noticed my wife spending more time on her phone than normal. She basically did what every typical cheater does. Lied, blame shifted, and gaslighted me when I tried to express my concerns. I know I was not perfect, and I did some things that I regret very much, but she treated me like a piece of crap all this time during her affair. I tried to improve all aspects of our relationship that she felt like were not good. When D-Day came in the beginning of June, she confessed to having an emotional affair and just slept with him twice. Then she blamed me for her having an affair. She said that she wanted to reconcile and we tried reconciliation, but she was just not into it. She still contacted him and they were still talking. When I told her how uncomfortable it made me, she said they were just friends and kept deleting texts. When I threatened divorce, she would cry, apologize, and beg me not to. When I tried bringing up the affair, she would get mad and somehow I was the one who ended up apologizing. Then, after 2 or 3 months, she started disappearing again, saying that she was visiting family because they needed her at the time. I knew she was going to see her affair partner, and when I brought it up, she was very convincing. One weekend, she disappeared and didn't answer any of my calls or texts. When she came back, she told me that her cousin had gotten sick and she had to rush her to the hospital and forgot her phone at her sister's place. And all this time, I was trying to make it work for us. She saw the efforts I made, but just didn't give an F. Then, by mid-December, she told me that she was moving out, that she had been unhappy in our relationship, and while she still cared for me, she was in love with her affair partner, that she had finally found her soulmate. I remember crying for hours trying to beg her to stay, but her mind was made up. We had to tell the kids. She said I could have the kids for the weekdays and she could come visit them on weekends since her affair partner's apartment was small. She filed for divorce a week after. This was the worst moment of my life. I grieved for weeks. I tried to talk to her again to see if there was any chance she'd come back, but all she said was that she was sorry for everything she put me through, but her mind is made up. No one other than us knew. Both her and my parents knew that we were only separated, but never knew the reason. By the end of January, when her mom called me and insisted I tell the truth, I invited her over together with her dad. I told them everything and literally I broke into tears and cried on my mother-in-law's shoulder. They comforted me and apologized for their daughter's behavior. I later told my parents and then some few close friends. Soon enough, everyone knew about us and I started receiving comforting messages and others talking ill of my ex. Soon afterwards, my wife called me crying, saying that I turned everyone against her and that she hates me. She said that people were threatening her and her affair partner. Her dad hates her. They had a close relationship. Her sisters don't want to talk to her, and no one will speak with her without insulting her. This was mid-April. By the beginning of June, her relationship with her affair partner had fizzled out due to stress. I remember she came to see the kids and told me that her affair partner kicked her out because he couldn't handle the stress of their relationship. She was living in a hotel room. She didn't look good at all, like someone who was depressed. She asked if she could move back in, and I said no. She said that she understood, but asked to spend more time with the kids. She said she wanted to make up for lost time with the kids and wanted to come in the afternoons and cook for them and spend time with them. I agreed. During this time, she would come cook my favorite dishes, cleaned the house, wrote small notes saying I love you, along with some flowers. You get the picture. When I would come back home from work, she would always try to spend more time with me. I have to admit, I did enjoy spending time with her. Then she started talking about how much she misses me, and then asked me if divorce is what I really wanted. I totally avoided the subject. Then last week, she told me that she had been going to counseling and was wondering whether we should try marriage counseling. She has started dressing the way she knows I like, wearing makeup. She has tried to sleep with me, but I have turned her down. More than countless times, she has brought up marriage counseling. This recent weekend, she cried, begging me not to go through with divorce. That she has already put up with a lot and all she wants is to have me and her family back. She says she'll do whatever I want. I know, it seems like the roles are reversed. All this time, I have been numb. Although a part of me feels happy now that she has gotten a taste of her own medicine. I still love her, but I don't really know if I should give our relationship another chance. What do you think? Oof, well OP, a few comments really quick. First of all, I don't know how you see that she got a taste of her own medicine. Everything that happened to her is that her affair blew up in her face and is now trying to get back with you. That's it. Instead of asking yourself if you should give your relationship another try, you need to ask yourself if you trust this woman who threw your whole marriage life aside, your kids, everything, for an affair partner that she thought was the love of her life. She told you more than once that her mind was made up. She had absolutely zero regard for you and your feelings and your whole family. So, to me the question is, when are you signing those divorce papers, man? But then again, that's just my opinion. What do you guys think OP should do? Okay, and now let's move on to the next story. This one's from user throwaway983942. My 18 female parents, 44 female and 44 male, stole my savings and sold my stuff, and I'm almost poor now. I never thought I would access this subreddit about problems in my family, but here we go. Some backstory. I moved to my own apartment 2 weeks ago after college started. I turned 18 midsummer and needed peace and quiet so I could focus on my studies. I have like 3 siblings, youngest being 2 years old. I left most of my stuff in my parents' home and plan to stop by to get it after I finish a class trip. A week ago, I went on a trip abroad with my college class to a country nearby, where we spent 6 days. The main purpose was to study the local history and visit the local historic attractions. It went pretty well, no one caught the bug, and the trip was overall cheap. I'm a nitpick, so the cheapness was one of the main reasons why I went, lol. I got back home to my apartment today, about 10 hours ago. I went to check on my bank account to see how much money I had spent on the trip. The only thing I saw was that all of the money was gone. A big round zero in my bank account. I was floored and started to panic. I had about 4,000 euros saved. Of course, I checked the latest deposits, and the money was transferred to my mom's bank account. My parents have access to my account. I tried to call them, but got no response, so I decided to drive to my parents. I got to my parents and ringed the doorbell. No one was home and I had no keys, so I went with the key that's usually under the doormat. Went to my room just to see that half of my stuff was gone. Necklaces, desktop computers, some of the furniture, all of my valuable stuff, and some clothes, such as one expensive dress and some brand clothes. I had no effing idea what happened, so this time I tried to call my dad. Dad at least answered, and I asked him about this effing situation. He literally said, "That stuff was from our wallets, you're on your own now." I know what he's chasing about. Yes, they bought some of my stuff, such as my desk or some clothes, but a lot of the stuff was bought by me or gifted to me by someone else. They can't take my property like that. In the savings, about 1.5 thousand euros was from my summer jobs. 1,000 euros was from my relatives giving that as a gift or giving that as start money to adulthood. The final 1,500 was from my parents that gave the money over the years so I could get something when I'm 18. I have no idea if they actually sold my stuff, but I can't think of anything that would tell me why my valuable stuff is gone. I have no effing idea what to do. The only valuable things I currently have in my own apartment are car, bed, couch, TV, desk, table, chair, perfumes, laptop, and phone. I took as much stuff that was left from my room to my car. I stole a little over 600 euros in cash from their vitrine and left the house. I'm feeling bad for stealing that money, but I had no other choice. That 600 euros isn't really enough for me to pay the next rent and bills, and I have no idea what to do. I have no idea where my parents and my siblings are. I checked the house later today, but no one was home. I have no job currently. My boyfriend is currently an exchange student and he doesn't know about this yet. I could ask for help from social services if possible. Please, any advice? This is the trickiest issue ever that I got in my life. Thanks. They took her money, just like that. They had access to her account and took all of her money and then sold her stuff. What kind of parents, man? Come on. In any case, we have an update that OP gave us, so let's continue with that. First off, I went to visit the bank. I wasn't able to close my account as my mother had ownership of it, but I was able to open a new one in my name, so that's what I did. My study advisor said that this same thing has happened before with other students now and then. There's really not a thing I could do about this, and getting into court might actually be more expensive. The study advisor supported me by giving me free study books to use for the rest of the college year. I told my boyfriend what happened. He's an exchange student at the moment, so he wasn't able to support me really. He promises to call me every single day regardless of impossibilities and will ask his parents to spend time with me and support in some way. Help with laundry, invite to eat, and so on. He also sent me 500 euros. I'm really thankful I have a supportive boyfriend. Some of you suggested knowing if my family is okay. I started to worry about it, so I stalked every family member's social media every day. Apparently, they went into a spa for a few days, probably with my money, F them. I also tried to visit their house every day to see if anyone's home. Later they were. I tried to visit them, but I was just told to go away. I don't have any clue what's wrong with them. Both of their parents, my grandparents, are also weird. I sold my car, I don't really need it, got a handful of money from it. I visited social services. I got housing allowance for the rest of the year, student allowance for the rest of the college, and learning material supplements for the rest of the college year. I got a part-time job in a fast food restaurant. I'm working in the evening after school ends and during the weekends. I was also able to pay all my rent and taxes from the last month. In short, I'm back on my feet now. Life is almost normal and I'm slowly earning my money back. I was in debt end a month ago. I'm happy that I got this solved so fast. I'm not getting in contact with my parents until they apologize. Boyfriend is coming back next month. Thank you. Well, I gotta say, I think OP managed that perfectly. She got a job, her boyfriend helped her out, that's great, her boyfriend's family also, and she focused on getting things done, staying in school and getting everything set up so that she could keep doing what she was doing. OP, you've shown amazing determination. Congratulations, and it's awesome that you're back on your feet. F your parents, let them keep the money. It's not like you can get it back anyways. And do what you're doing. You're moving on with your life. You're building yourself up. Amazing. Alright, and on that high note, let's move on to the last story. This one's from user ThrowArray Healthful. My 36 female husband, 40 male, suddenly changed for the better 2 years ago, but no one shares my concerns about how odd it is that he dramatically became a different person overnight because all his changes were positive. When I married my husband, I knew that he was an overweight, lazy video game nerd, and I loved him anyway for his warm heart and kind personality. He detested exercise, stayed a low rank at his career because he put the minimum effort, and we bonded more over activities like watching movies together at home rather than going out. He went on this camping trip with his friends 2 years ago and did shrooms. He had never done drugs before, and had he consulted me, I would have told him it was a terrible idea. And when he came home, it was like something had lit a fire under his butt. He completely changed interests. He never played video games again and took up running, reading books even though I'd never seen him read before except for school, and several other completely random hobbies. He became a vegetarian, even though before he was a meat and potatoes guy. He worked harder at his job, then did an accelerated grad school program and ended up making tons more money. I barely recognize him. We still have a good marriage and I still love him, and he has motivated me to be better in the last 2 years. But I can't help but wonder if those drugs knocked a screw loose. Could this be dangerous? I'm deeply concerned. I know that people change, but about all that's left of him is his warm heart. No one shares my concerns because all his changes have been positive. But I feel like he's so different. Maybe we need marriage counseling so I can adapt, at least? Well, that's a short post. So, we're gonna take a look at just 2 comments. One from a med student and the other one from OP to close this thing up. Prometric Fangirl says, "Hi there, I'm a 4th year medical student preparing to start my training in psychiatry. When I read your headline, I immediately thought, did her husband take a psychedelic drug? This is not an uncommon result of taking magic mushrooms or a myriad of other hallucinogenic drugs. Psychiatrists and other scientists hypothesize that these drugs can cause long-lasting positive changes in patients, and your husband is an example of this. To our knowledge, this is not dangerous. Psilocybin mushrooms are one of the safest recreational drugs around. So your husband is likely completely healthy. However, I do recognize what a change this is for you, and you are having difficulty adjusting. Have you spoken to your husband about this much? How does he explain the experience?" Now, OP didn't reply to this comment. She only applied to one comment, and this is that reply. "I still love him, and I have been supportive in his efforts of bettering himself and have even taken up exercise and eat mostly vegetarian. It's just that he's like a different person now, and since this has continued for 2 years, I'm coming to terms with the fact that I'm going to have to adapt, and our days of playing Mario in our pajamas have been replaced with jogs and protein shakes." I'm gonna leave this one up for debate. What would you do? How would you feel if you were in OP's shoes? Alright, well, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. If you still haven't subscribed, then what are you waiting for? Just click subscribe and the bell so you're notified when a new video comes out. Also, don't forget about my other channel, LG Reddit AITA, a channel exclusively about Am I the A-hole? And finally, don't forget to go to the Lost Genre subreddit where you can share your stories or cross-post stories from other subs for me to feature in videos. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.